All right. So first for the new agenda items, funny enough, the first one, the Antelope Go-to-Market cross-chain marketing group update, that was requested by Lucas, but Lucas had last minute reason for not coming. So if nobody else has insight to this, we can pause this till next week when Lucas is here. So throw that out. Does anybody have anything to add to this topic?
Not me.
Okay, good. The second new agenda item, this is just informative. The old RFPs were being published in the ENF GitHub repository. There, of course, is an Antelope one. We have created a coalition-RFPs repo, and we have copied all of them over. And going forward, we're going to put all of the coalition RFPs into the coalition GitHub home. For reference, I mean, everybody should be able to find it when you go into GitHub, but I'll pop this up on the video. So if anybody wants to see this, you can go directly there. All right, so I'll close that out. All right, moving into the in progress column. So the first two, again, will start up after the release. Currently, the RC3 has been out for about 2 weeks. There's been no major rumblings about it. So tentatively, it might go into production on the 25th. Again, I'm putting an asterisk with that because everybody's been through the release process before, but things are looking good. The reason why I bring that up here is because, of course, as we've been saying for weeks, that will open up capabilities for some of the ENF resources to be able to start documenting the desired requirements for both of those two items. The third item is the P2P Peer Discovery. Now, earlier this week, Guillaume, you had a meeting with Fudan, and I will actually turn it over to you to kind of give an update on some of the discussion, particularly around how they set up the milestones.
Yeah. So there was some issues with the way that the milestones were set, and I guess by the consequence of that is that we might want to kind of review our process as well to make sure that when we take on new RFPs like this one that touch the core code, we ensure that the milestones are, and probably any RFP that we take on, actually, we want to ensure that the milestones are correct and can be verified independently and objectively. The issue here was that they just went with the technical requirements as the milestones, and that's not really appropriate. I've detailed that in the Telegram channel. So following that discussion that we had on Tuesday morning, we agreed that the Fudan team, with the help of Fumin, would be revisiting the milestones, essentially coming up with a new calendar of milestones for the remaining 3 or 4 milestones of the RFP. And these would follow the template that I suggested, which is essentially, like defining unit tests and integration tests that are required, then coming up with a code implementation that meets these requirements, and then successful PR to the code base, as well as deployment to testnet, mainnet, and so on and so forth. So of course, like this is a bit kind of maybe I think like something like 40% of the project was the milestones were already awarded. So we going to condense the new template into the last remaining 3, but that should put back the project on track and make it verifiable after that. So we're expecting to get these updated milestones over the next few days. So probably on the next call next week, we should be able to take a vote on the updated milestones, and then get back on track with the project. Any questions or any comments?
No, I guess this just highlights kind of like what you had put in your messaging, that we need to, as we do out more RFPs, we really need to position them. We talked about this on multiple occasions, but to have a mechanism to be able to validate the work. But I'm not sure we'll be able to move away from this specific example of, because it's broken down in, if I understand correctly, different technical components. Great, that component's done, but there's no way to verify if it works because as a standalone, it's not anything. It requires all of them to be done. So I mean, it's maybe I missed it, but I'm not sure how we'll close that gap.
It's still doable because I mean, if we look at the template that I suggested, this kind of gives you a way to approach just about any kind of component or any project in a kind of more or less standardized fashion. The problem here is the milestones were literally the technical requirements. So we had like, something like 10 technical requirements for the RFP, and these are kind of characteristics that the final solution must have, but they don't represent anything tangible taken in isolation
by themselves. Yeah,
exactly. So, lesson learned. For the next ones, we'll make sure that we have these objectively verifiable kind of checkpoints, and the template that I suggested, I think works for the majority of the cases.
Gotcha.
Any questions on that? All right, perfect. So again, hopefully we will get the new proposed milestone schedule. Again, it was also made clear to them that this should not change the cost. And just like we've done on several other projects, sometimes the schedule changes. We'll bring it back here. You guys will vote. If you are voting in the affirmative, then we'll go back to them and rebaseline the remainder of the project.
What is their, just before we move on from that one, what is their position on that? I mean, is there pushback? Are they understanding? Do they understand kind of the challenge that we're facing? Just to get a sense.
Yeah, no, they were very understanding. I think it's kind of, the mistake kind of came from them. I mean, we didn't catch it, but they are the ones who suggested these milestones. So I mean, obviously they recognize that they should have been clearer, and they should have spent a bit more time defining these, and they understood the challenge. And I mean, bear in mind, I wanted to make sure also that this resulted in a high quality code submission. So I was a bit tough on them as well, and I didn't want to approve something before I had a very good confidence in the quality of the code. So I told them, and they were understanding. I think they will produce good code as well. They also requested a little bit more kind of guidance, but I'll be happy to provide them with that guidance.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Excellent. So, Guillaume, why don't you flow into Instant Finality? I believe IBC is kind of paused unless you have an update on that as well.
The only thing on IBC is the last time I checked, there was still, I think, 2 or 3 signatures missing on the TELOS M6. So maybe Jesse, if you don't mind taking a look at that and see if this can be completed, that'd be great. That's for the WAX configuration. And then once that's done, Lucas requested basically that we pause, that we leave it in a disabled state until early May. I think they have some marketing material that they want to produce to align with the official launch. So, but otherwise, like I think that's the only thing that's left to do on your side. The EOS MSIG was approved, I think, last week, or early this week. So it's just TELOS left.
Was there? Is this a second MSIG for TELOS? Did one of them be redone?
No, so the first one I made a mistake. I essentially set the authorization request to ESIO active instead of the actual contract, which is IBC proof. active. And TELOS TELOS allows you to kind of map these conditions, but the MSIG contract doesn't.
I'm sure I know I've done that in the past. So gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I knew that one had I knew that one had been executed, but okay, makes sense. We'll push the rest of the people to get those done.
Thank you very much. And that's it for IBC. No additional update. With regards to Instant Finality, last week was the end of the EVM sprint. So essentially, this week, the ENF is basically back to in a position where they can review the work that has been done. So there's still quite a bit of catch up to do. It's been probably something like 2 or 3 months of work without much review from the ENF engineers. So this is what is taking place this week. We're expecting that maybe next week or the week after that, we'll be back basically in cruising speed. They'll be caught up with the progress that we've made. We have one PR that will that will be presented probably over the weekend. And hopefully we're going to get at the end of the 2 or 3 week period, we should be able to complete 3 of the milestones of IBC. And that would put us in a position where we would be preparing for a public testnet, for a public testnet milestone that would come probably early June. That's my estimate, hopefully, if all goes well. Any questions on Instant Finality? All right. So that's it.
Moving on, Aaron, you want to give us an update on SDK?
Yeah, sure. Today we will have everything released in kind of an 0.4 state, which is kind of the next major bump up in terms of our early releases that are going on right now. A lot of the milestones are now completed. With this release coming out today, we'll also be pushing the next milestone into the review phase. We have about 95% of the next milestone done as well, which is part of all these releases that are coming out. It's hard because there's so many individual components to this to talk about it at a high level. But this release itself will provide a pretty stable interface for web application developers to drop WARF into existing applications and use the wallet adapters that we have available, as well as do all the session management and everything they need to do. So in terms of development, the session kit itself is entering kind of a stable phase, and we're going to continue to improve it as well as continue to improve the UIs, but this is a good base level, we feel. Development, I think I mentioned this last week, is shifting towards the contract kit, which is the next kind of big development milestone, and that'll be probably ready in June, if not before. We have a lot of website progress happening with documentation that's going to explain how all of this works. And we're just continuing to engage with new developers every week as, new people are trying it out, finding how it fits into their applications and maybe where it doesn't, and then kind of taking that feedback and trying to apply it back to the session kit and how we can improve that experience for those types of situations. So all in all, we will have, like I said, the submission of the next milestone today. We'll have the progress report coming out this week, and then I'm going to be personally missing for the next maybe 2 weeks or so. The team's going to continue to be working. I will have them monitoring kind of Telegram or whatever, but being kind of the public voice of all of this, my voice will just be not as loud as it has been. So that's about where we're at.
Thank you for that. Any questions for Aaron? All right, moving on. Antler CDT, as previously mentioned, the work is done. It's tied to the release, and I mentioned earlier the tentative date for that release is the 25th. So hopefully by this time next week, knock on wood, we'll have a different status on this. The last one, Ledger app, we are reaching out to them to get those final details on the web pages, as I mentioned last time. Other than that, there's no update on this. Any other questions about any of the topics today, and or are there other topics we want to cover in the remaining 42 minutes? See what I did there? I pointed out we had 42 minutes to get back and then encouraged all of you to not say anything. This is wonderful. All right. If that's it, everybody have a great day, great weekend. Talk to some of you possibly Monday.
Sounds good. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.